morning, everyone. I'm Howard Hinterthuer. Gertchen and Steve asked that I do this. Welcome you all here to this groundbreaking. It's been 2 years since we did one. We got lucky on the weather and also on the electric power. I was panicking this morning because I thought, oh my goodness, where am I going to plug in the amplifier? And there it is right there, all ready to go. So the city's on top of things, that's for sure. Port Washington has been undergoing a dramatic change over the last 3 or 4 decades. It used to be a coal town with a commercial fishing industry, and that went away in the 1980s because of the invasion of zebra mussels from the bilge water of ships, ocean-going vessels. And it's been kind of a mixed blessing. It killed the fishery, the yellow perch fishery, but the state of Wisconsin and the people who live here got together and instead of panicking, they planned a new approach and created this fantastic salmon fishery and sport fishing, and Port Washington has benefited greatly. And then the coal plant was converted to natural gas, peak load natural gas, about 10 years ago. So we got rid of the smoke and the coal, and now we've benefited in that we have this wonderful park over near the power plant. And the power plant is pretty clean. It just discharges water vapor and carbon dioxide. And then the city and the people in it invested in the marina and created this wonderful resource. So Port Washington has become a recreational mecca. And a while back, we got involved in the Main Street program through the state of Wisconsin and helped with some planning activities and analysis of our downtown retail and what the needs are and what our shopping demographics are and those sorts of things. And one of the things we learned was that we need more downtown residential properties. And so you're seeing the manifestation of that planning activity with Lakepointe. It's pretty exciting to stand on this spot and see where it's located and how the community will benefit from the people living right in the downtown area. When these kind of changes are made, it makes development almost inevitable. And the best thing we can do about development is to plan ahead of time. Make sure that we shape what forms development will take in this community. And so over the past 10 years or so, the city has become more informed about development and flexed their muscles and formed partnerships with developers so that we get an end product that's satisfying and benefits the entire community. So Lakepointe is a manifestation of that, of course. Collaboration is it's the ticket to our future. Having said those things, I'd like to introduce the developer on this project and also the architect, Stephen Perry Smith.
Thank you, Howard. First of all, it's a pleasure to be before you today on behalf of Port Townhomes, LLC. It's our honor to have this groundbreaking in the lovely city of Port Washington. To play off a little bit of the history lesson that Howard was giving you, I'd say it's roughly about 2.5, almost 3 years ago that I had the opportunity to meet Gertchen Vanderbroek and work with him as the architect for Harbor Lights. In getting to know Gertchen, his passion for Port Washington was contagious. And I see why, having had the opportunity to work with Gertchen and spend time in this amazing town of Port Washington. It shouldn't be a newsflash that Port Washington has certainly developed its own brand And it's the scale and the charm of its existing buildings and the people that live here that are committed to their community. It really make it certainly a special place to live. And in that time, working on Harbor Lights facility that Gertchen, we've completed. I think the groundbreaking was, as Howard mentioned, maybe about 2 years ago. Upon the completion of that, Gertchen was sharing with me the city's vision for the Marina District here, and made me aware of this parcel of land that was being made available for potential sale. And it really piqued my interest. There was another competing development for this project, and we decided to take a run at it. And we looked at really the guidelines that were being the vision we felt from the city, and tried to take that to heart. Had meetings with Randy Tesloff and Mark Graham about the project, as well as the mayor, and put together what we felt was our vision for it, a collective vision for this particular site. And we're very delighted to be here today. It's been really a long journey. I think we were finally awarded, and I want to just really extend my sincere thanks to the city of Port Washington for trusting us and awarding us the sale of this land. They awarded it in December, I believe, last year, and we closed in July. And getting to this point now to actually be able to physically break ground is just a very, very exciting time for us. I'd like to now acknowledge some people that have been instrumental, as my wife is hiding. I gotta say, the wind behind my sails, I'm gonna play a little bit off a nautical theme here. The wind behind my sails is my lovely wife, Alex. She's been behind me every step of the way, and I truly appreciate your support. There are many times on this journey that we were wondering if we actually would have this opportunity today, and so Alex, thank you so much. If she's the wind in my sails, then Gertchen, you're my compass. All through this process, Gertchen has given me, just as he's become started out as a client, he's become a very dear friend and even a brother to me, and given me solid advice and helping me to navigate, the political landscape, if you will, because I am not a Port resident. But that being said, I love this community, and so Gertchen, thank you for all the solid advice all through the process, and your patience and understanding and everything, the vision that you helped share with me. And now let's talk about the lighthouse, the beacon of light, Mayor Tom Mlada. Tom, you are certainly a steward for this community, and I can't thank you enough for all the support you've given me and our development team here for this project. It's without your help, we couldn't have pulled it off. And if you're the beacon of light, the arches supporting you, we've got Randy Tesloff here, Mark Graham, Rob Vanderhoven, and certainly the council and the plan commission and the architectural board that have supported this development. We believe that Lakepointe will bring a continued vitality to the city of Port Washington. Much in the manner of Harbor Lights, it will bring residents to downtown, continue to activate the businesses, provide vitality here. It will engage in the waterfront in we think a very sensitive way by the scale of the buildings. The architecture is meant to be reflective of the quality and character of the buildings in Port Washington. A lot of the turrets you see are reflective of those elements, and the materials we're using are all meant to mimic and recall the elements of design that you see currently with the city that make it a special place. I'd like to talk about my team, and unfortunately I only have one of my guys here, Scott Cieslak, a couple other gentlemen in my office, my crew, if you will. Marcel Utek is a student and going for his master's, and he's unable to join us, and Matt Trinkle is working on another project, but I want to acknowledge their efforts as well. Great guys to work with. And then we start looking at the marketing team, and Pam Bastian, you've been, I see why you're leading sales brokers with First Weber. First Weber and Pam have been really instrumental in getting this project off the ground, bringing buyers to us and closing the deals. And hopefully this project it sells itself, but Pam, your hard work and First Weber's efforts in really marketing this project and has been greatly appreciated, and we'll continue to sell these units and implement these other buildings. Beverly, you've been a godsend as well in putting together all the marketing materials that we put together. And we have a sales office across the street here, and in that is, again, the marketing materials that Beverly has put together. Howard Lewis put together the narrative for that, and you can see he certainly understands the quality and character of this town. John with Augsburg State Bank. We closed the loan with John, so we're having the baby. But we're very delighted to be working with your bank and our investors. Mike, thank you for all your help, and Mike, also the other Mike that's not here, or I don't see him at least, but appreciate your support. It's a wonderful opportunity for the City of Port Washington, for Lakepointe LLC, and for everyone here in this community. We think this will be hopefully another landmark project that will continue the renaissance of Port Washington. We are going to have a groundbreaking ceremony. We actually have New Berlin grading here that will start to strip the asphalt. It took us some time to get this point, and now I want to introduce the construction team. Fine Line Construction, we have Nick Suddendorf and Brad Williams here are going to be the general contractor for this project. We're delighted to be working with them. They enjoy a great reputation in this community, and part of it was to keep it in the family, and in working with the Fine Line Carpentry Construction, we will be starting this first building, and actually today we will be starting. And next springtime we'll start the second building on Pier Street, and hopefully we'll be getting after the Lake Street building shortly after that. So again, we're very, very delighted to be here, honored to be doing this project for the City of Port Washington. Mayor Tom, we appreciate again all your support for this project, and the enthusiasm and support that you've shown us, and again what you're doing for your community is to be commended. So with that, Howard, I don't know if there's anything else. I'll pass the baton back to you, and if I've missed anybody, I apologize. This has been a team effort. I see Pat Harrison here, our geotechnical consultant. He's solving we bought the dirt, and truth be told, we got some issues, but we will figure those out, and we've got them figured out, and we'll be doing some ground stabilization. That will be happening next, and then foundations will be getting started yet this year, and then we're actually going to press the pause button and wait till springtime to really get after the construction. So you will see, we're not going to fight Mother Nature. We all know what's coming, but at least today she's shining on us. So thank you again for your time and for joining us here today.
Of course, the other half of the team is the City of Port Washington, and I'd like you to welcome our mayor, Tom Mlada.
But I heard a couple of those. So I was told a few words, and you know, I think strategically, the reason that I was placed, I think, third now in the pecking order is because you two gentlemen covered it all. So there's really not much more that I can say, so we're good, right? We're all set to go. Yeah, in all sincerity, you touched on a couple of things that I was going to mention. We did start with this a couple of years ago, almost 2 years to the day, with the groundbreaking for Harbor Lights. And I was recollecting back on that day and time, and I will tell you, I recollect very sincerely the weather was warmer, so we had that as a positive, albeit today it really did turn out pretty nicely. But also, the Packers were 6-2. So to rub salt in the wound for all of us, unfortunately, the things were trending a little bit more positive, both in terms of our beloved team and the weather. In all seriousness, I have to tell you that on behalf of our City of Port Washington, this is a really exciting day. It's a continuation, quite frankly, I think, of the momentum that we've been trying to build upon over the course of the last several years. And as Howard mentioned, and I think Steve brought up as well, that really kind of began when we invited the community into the discussion 4 or 5 years ago and started down the path of strategic redevelopment, trying to identify opportunities here within our downtown that we could bring in residential, supportive of our city business partners, that we could provide more year-round activating experiences. And so Harbor Lights was the start of that, most definitely. Obviously, Duluth Trading, a huge effect in that regard as well. But we have a thriving Main Street community, and part of what we've always wanted to do is to ensure that we have people living here within our downtown that on a year-round basis can really provide the kind of support so that our Main Street business partners are not only successful, but sustainably successful. So it's a tremendously important project. This is the next step for us. On behalf of our city, I really do want to thank Steve and, of course, your entire team, your far better half. It was lovely to meet with your wife today, and Gertchen, everybody who's had that kind of belief. This project obviously represents those kind of core elements. It represents belief. It represents faith in action. It really represents investment and partnership in the best regard. And so in that way, our community is really fortunate that we've been able to have you come here and recognize what a special place this is and want to move forward with us in leveraging these kind of opportunities together. So again, a really exciting day. We're excited for projects that we believe are still forthcoming. Opportunities to work with ANSE, and opportunities to work on the Blues Factory, and opportunities with Prairie's Edge. Again, the kinds of things that we believe we need to do here in our downtown along this very special lakefront area to ensure that the city of Port Washington is successful for decades to come. So Steve, thank you for your belief, investment. Thank you to all the partners you referenced. That was, by the way, ideal for an Oscars speech. They should have filmed that and given that to all the Hollywood elites, because you did a great job without any notes, and you were concise too, so it was well done. But again, thank you one and all for being here today, for all that you're doing for our community, for our city of Port Washington, and let's get the ball rolling on this next phase. Excited. Thanks very much.
All right.
Chins up.
Are we throwing?
Anytime you're ready.
Yeah.
guys.
All right. On the count of 3?
Yep.
Good coordination.
It's a phased approach.
That's right, a phased approach, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Here, Gertrude.
So